It is not a single-player corridor shooter. It's not a Mass Effect game. It's not a Dragon Age game. As much as those IPs are special to us, as much as we have various projects in the works, and there's a team working on Dragon Age stuff right now, and Mass Effect is certainly not dead. Anthem is different, and we have to highlight those differences, of which cooperative play is a big difference. And that's a little quote there from Mike Gamble. Hi, my name is Nicholas, NikoTheLegend, from the Snowflake Land, and I'm also the well-mannered teenager. I'm here to tell you that BioWare Mass Effect is certainly not dead. Wow. Like, we didn't know that. Like, I guess we're going to be discussing a topic that has the same effect we had last year when we discovered that Mass Effect's on ice, but you know, it's not dead, and we'll get there eventually. Yeah, so this is just another article that people just can't stop and just ask the same question over and over. Guys, when are you just gonna stop asking about Mass Effect? I get it. I get it. We want a Mass Effect game. We want to know what their plan is and everything, because as we saw that Anthem demonstration at EA Play E3 2018, yeah, we get a little worried. And Anthem hasn't really convinced us, you know, us Mass Effect and Dragon Age fans, or anything that made us fall in love with BioWare games, to really give a crap about this game still. And I talked about this in my previous video on why it was such a disaster and why BioWare is doomed overall. But you know what? It makes it even more doomed when we have to be, you know, told again that Mass Effect is certainly not dead. Like I said, we get that. We understand. Now, what I really want to know is why this always comes up in conversation. Why is this such a thing that we have to always tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better? Guys, stop asking them the same questions. We know Mass Effect's not dead. We know it's not on ice. We know Casey Hudson said he's going to come back to Mass Effect and work on it after Anthem. And Mike Gamble is just saying the same thing. That no more. Just no more questions asked. Like, it's so annoying, because when I see stuff like this, when an article titled this, I go into it, and you're about to find out it's a clickbait, right? You're about to find out some disappointing news, stuff you already know. So don't give these journalists or these article writers a reason to clickbait you, to make you feel like the game's really not dead. It's dead in the water right now. The only way is to perform CPR or resuscitate it with a nice little miniature defibrillator, a good AED. That's it. That's how it's coming back from. That's how it's thawing back from the Ice Age, thawing back into this world. So, and that quote in the beginning just states that, yeah, this is Anthem. This is how we're doing it. None of the stuff that you liked about Mass Effect, BioWare, Dragon Age, Knights of the Republic, it's going to be in this game. And it's funny that he says that, because Casey Hudson, on the other hand, said, oh, we're refocusing ourselves. We're going to make this a story-driven game too. It's going to be the stuff that you remember from from BioWare that makes you like us so much. And then we get a demonstration that it's not anything close to Mass Effect. It's so great. It's so great how, you know, we have to be told that Anthem's our prime focus. We got a team on Dragon Age. Okay, that's good. At least we know Dragon Age is still a thing. But it's really ridiculous when this is the guy, and you can look in the article. There's a quote down below, which I'll probably just read to you, just to add a little more context to why this really bugs me and why this is just such useless information. Like I said, I'm sorry guys if you're coming in to find out the true answer, but this is the same stuff we already know. But, you know, it's my job to keep us updated and reflect on these things and how it makes me feel, and how it, you know, how we can establish some type of connection with all this, and to help figure out what the hell they're doing, you know. But anyway, so let's talk about this quote. Personally, I think Andromeda has a lot of great stuff in it. Sometimes you need to scrape to get to it, but when you get there, you feel that magic. Okay, we launched in a highly competitive quarter. No excuse. There were some great contemporaries out at the same time, and hindsight is always 20/20. Let's focus on this. Personally, I think Andromeda has a lot of great stuff in it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Sometimes you need to scrape to get to it. Are you kidding me? Look, for those of you who think Andromeda is better now, it's still a pretty mediocre game. It's not that great of a Mass Effect game. When I recommend Mass Effect to other people, I am never going to tell them to play Andromeda. I'm never going to tell them to play it. And I shouldn't have to explain myself on why that is, because I have so many other different videos explaining that, and then you can also look up other YouTubers. And I'm sorry if that seems like a lazy way, but that's just the truth. You can always watch those other videos I made. But it's really great that there are a few okay stuff with it. But like I like the whole AI thing, whatever. Like, you know, even though I don't know how it got passed or ever, or it never explains how Scott Ryder ever got it to get on the ship or anything. It doesn't really go far into detail on that type of stuff. And then, you know, I kind of like the setting into the game with the kind of the mystery when you go on the Hyperion or whatever, the derelict ship, Mass Effect ship, and you don't really know what's going on. It's like, oh, what the heck happened? But that's probably about it. Everything else in that game is ridiculous. There's ridiculous amount of stuff. Like I said, you can just look up all the ridiculous stuff. And I'm like, when I read stuff like this, it triggers me, because it's like, have you even played your own game? Have you even dived into it? Have you played it thoroughly? Have you played it like me, like at least 100 hours and above on the game to kind of fully comprehend what this game it really is? It's average. It's mediocre. It's not great. Nothing close to what Mass Effect 1 through 3 did. The original trilogy will just blows it out of proportion. And saying that it launched in a highly competitive quarter, it's not an excuse. That is, you know, I've never heard developers ever talk about this. You know, they never say, oh, we launched it in a competitive time. It's because you had a choice to do that. EA, well, granted, EA is pretty stupid when it comes to this stuff, because they released Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 in the same month of a Call of Duty game. And you wonder why nobody plays Titanfall 2, because you released another EA game in the same month. But it doesn't matter. You knew you were going into it. It's no excuse. If your game was really amazing and awesome, and it didn't turn into the biggest troll of the year of 2017 and destroyed your image basically when it came to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and obviously that didn't help, then you would have made so much more money. You wouldn't have discounted it to like $10 in like less than 3 months. It's a little bit over exaggeration, but you get the idea. Your game would have been the laughing stock. Like, I get it. Breath of the Wild came out. The Switch came out. Big time contenders. I get that. But like I said, not everybody's going to buy a single console, right? Not everybody's going to buy the Switch. Mass Effect Andromeda came out on all platforms other than the Switch. Came out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So you have 3 different other platforms. To say, oh, you know, it's launched a highly competitive brand, you know, that's one of the reasons. Like, no, your game just fucking sucked. It just sucked. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when you have to say stuff like that. And I'm like, no, your game was just bad. And here's the real cherry on top. I'm proud of the team behind Andromeda and how hard they worked, and I feel strongly there's enough of an audience out there who appreciates it and loves it, and I feel encouraged by this still. Could this have been received better? Absolutely. Oh, that's just perfect. Are there things we learned from it? Focus, polish, visual fidelity? Absolutely. We have to, we'll never get better at and make the same mistakes. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You're proud of the Andromeda team for creating the most disastrous game in the entire BioWare franchise and the EA franchise? You are proud of that team? You're proud of hiring a writer who got virtually raped? And you felt bad for her, so you made her this writer because she got that on her belt, and how much of an amateur writer she was, who wasn't even like, correct me if I'm wrong on the, you know, her education, who had a couple courses in writing, like an amateur. And then you hire a cosplayer, doesn't even do 3D animations or any type of animations for a living. You hire a cosplayer. And you're proud of that team? And all these newbie people, these left behind people, you have a big time you have a big time racist against white people, Manveer, or whatever the guy's name, he's some not Indian guy who blatantly hated white people and was racist against it. You're proud of that team? You're proud of all the teammates, your BioWare colleagues that left BioWare to go work on other things? You're really proud of that, Mike Gamble. Are you freaking serious right now? Like, the game did so bad that you had to have Casey Hudson come back from Xbox, from Microsoft. So don't lie to yourself, don't lie to us, and don't say stuff like, oh, it's not that, Mass Effect is certainly not that, it's just, we're just really focused on Anthem. That's basically saying that, yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just want to say things so people get off my back. Because it's vague as hell responses like these that really piss me off, and it's ridiculous because we don't deserve that. None of us deserve that type of punishment for one of the greatest franchises ever made. And Andromeda is literally the thorn in our side that just doesn't go away because you people, the gamers who always have to know everything about everything in terms of gaming news and franchises, I'm telling you, you're just always going to be disappointed every time you ask these developers about Mass Effect. They're going to tell you the same thing. They're going to disappoint you in the same way. I know we wanted to see something at E3 for their presentation. We didn't see shit. We didn't see Dragon Age. We didn't see Mass Effect. We didn't see anything that made us give a crap about Anthem. And it's just ridiculous. And then, as the quote says, could it have been received better? Absolutely. What? I'm like, no, it couldn't have been received better. Do you not realize what you brought out? You were the laughing stock because your game was crap. The story was bad. The gameplay was bad. The bugs were bad. The graphics were terrible. When your game looks worse than the presentation video that you showed at E3 in 2017 for Anthem, then yeah, it gets us worried. And then focus, polish. Like, no, you guys just hired the worst team possible to work on this game. You hired a supposedly virtually raped woman to write your story, so that's really healthy to do. And then you hire you hire a lady who just does cosplay for a living and has okay animation skills. How does this even go? How does this even work? But anyway, focus, polish, and visual fidelity, no, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Those are like vague as hell responses because it just leads into so many other, it just branches out into so many other issues. So folks, I'm glad we have to get nailed into a coffin to know that Mass Effect isn't dead. Duh, we know this. Like I said, stop asking the same questions. Stop pretending that Mass Effect Andromeda is a decent game and that we should focus on playing it. No. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. That's completely fine. If you like bad games, fine. You like playing mediocre games, fine. You can play one of the most disastrous games in the entire BioWare EA franchise. Well, I guess you can say Ultima because, EA destroyed that real easily. But for BioWare is the worst BioWare created game by far. Everything else BioWare has been very good. I'd rather play... Look, I was okay with Mass Effect 3's extended cut. I was okay with that, okay? That was fine. I know the damage was done and it was hard to get over, but Mass Effect 3 is a fantastic game. So is 1 and 2. So is Dragon Age 1. You know what? I'd rather play Dragon Age 2 over Mass Effect Andromeda any day. Any day. Okay? Because Dragon Age 2 was just rushed. And you know what? Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't rushed. It had 5 years and had a poopy of a team. And they're like, okay, let's work on Anthem. Mass Effect Andromeda was abandoned. Dragon Age 2 wasn't. It was just rushed. Dragon Age Inquisition, I had a blast playing. Despite what you guys want to say, how boring it was or how empty it was, I still enjoyed it way more than this garbage. So, and of course you get the Knights of the Republic and Jade Empire franchise and all that. Those games are fantastic, and the Neverwinter Nights series and Baldur's Gate, whatever. So, if you haven't played those games and Mass Effect Andromeda is your only BioWare game you played recently, you should probably play the older games after this video so you can kind of get a new perspective, because when you play those games, you'll fully understand that they are definitely much better. So, thank you, Mike Gamble, for making sure there's a future for Mass Effect, because Anthem is a priority. The future has been destroyed as soon as you added 5 years to the creation of this disaster of a game. Talking about Mass Effect Andromeda. And then you kind of focus on the last year and a half to actually get stuff done. But like I said, you were already working on Anthem. So, thanks, Mike Gamble. I'm glad you're the only one to let us know the obvious. And thanks for everybody else for asking the same freaking questions every time. Stop it. Stop ripping my heart apart. Just stop. Anyway, clickbait maybe? Too long of a video? Maybe, but if you stuck around this long, please let me know what your comments are below. I like to hear what you guys have to say, and I like to hear all the people that got upset about some of the stuff I said, because there were some controversial stuff. But I'm sorry, guys, it's the truth. You can look it up all over the internet, and it's all over YouTube. It's all over any type of social media platform you want to talk about. But I'm NikoTheLegend, and I'm signing out, Pathfinder.